celebration of beards and grilled wiener continues throughout the mainstream media. Headline at the worldwide leader in woke. WNBA earns record ratings through the first month of the season. Headline at the New York Post. WNBA TV ratings reach new heights. Woohoo! Yes, yes, yes. The media, they're even talking about this supposed boost in attendance. If you were to believe the media, you would think it is standing room only at most of these games. You would think they are turning people away at the gate, disappointing dozens of people who were looking for a good nap. But like I keep saying over and over and over, this so-called success in the WNBA, it is nothing but an illusion that will evaporate quickly if they don't solve the biggest problem in this league. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Sunday afternoon, Angel Reese achieved a first by finally beating Caitlin Clark. Well, KC, that's simply not true. Angel Reese beat Caitlin Clark for the national championship when she was at LSU. Yeah, but that was professional basketball. That game was watched by, almost 10 million people? When the game ended, Angel Reese, she was presented with a trophy that was made of gold instead of plastic. She received millions of dollars in endorsement deals instead of receiving the highly coveted prize in the WNBA, which is exclusive access to the golden toilet in the offseason. Sunday afternoon, Angel Reese, she beat Caitlin Clark for the first time in the WNBA. Game drew 2.3 million viewers on ESPN. And that would be a great number for the NBA, seriously. If I remember correctly, the NBA averages about 1.4, 1.5 million for games on ESPN. So the WNBA, they are finally beating their primary subsidizers, right? Not only are they beating the NBA in terms of mainstream media exposure, the WNBA, they are finally outdrawing the NBA on television. This could be the year that the dump generates their first peso in profit, right? The difference, of course, the NBA, they have plenty of teams and star players capable of selling out games and drawing an audience on television, while the WNBA doesn't have a single team capable of doing that and only has one player capable of generating mainstream interest. So far this season, WNBA is averaging around 806,000 viewers. That's almost triple the amount they were averaging at this point last season. According to Coley Edison, who is the Chief Growth Officer in the WNBA, Chief Growth Officer, that job title should really be magician, because that's what Coley Edison is expected to do, magically grow a league that is incapable of growth. Fun fact, though, about Coley Edison, for those of you guys who grew up watching MTV like I did, Coley Edison is a former cast member on The Real World, and she competed on a couple of seasons of The Challenge. I think she was on The Real World Denver, which aired in 2005, maybe 2006. Anyway, though, according to the former Real Worlder, there's a logical explanation for the increased growth in the WNBA. What's happening in this dump is confirmation of what we have always known. The demand is there, and women's basketball is a valuable investment. Oh, really? Really? The WNBA is a valuable investment? Let me ask you something, Coley. Since we're talking about investing and the WNBA supposedly being a valuable investment, let's follow the money for a second. People can say whatever they want. Executives at ESPN, they send out these flashy press releases talking about their valuable partnership with pretend basketball, but words, they don't mean shit. Follow the money. If the WNBA is such a valued property, how come ESPN is willing to give away the WNBA Finals? I would assume the finals are the most valuable asset in the WNBA. I mean, the winner of the series determines which dump gains access to the golden toilet throughout the offseason. If the WNBA is so valuable, if the WNBA is a strong investment, How come the so-called home of women's basketball is willing to give away its most desired asset? I don't see ESPN doing this with the NBA. Matter of fact, during their negotiations with Adam Silver, ESPN demanded that the NBA Finals remain on ABC. When it comes to the WNBA, ESPN claims to be willing to share it with other networks. According to Sports Media Watch, the reason ESPN is willing to share the WNBA Finals with other television networks is because ESPN thinks it's in the best interest of the league. We want to see the WNBA grow, and we feel the best way to do that is to give away their biggest series to our competitors. Does that make any sense to you? Do you see Fox giving away the World Series? Do you see ABC giving away The Bachelor? Do you see CBS giving away Survivor? You know why they hold on to those programs? They're valuable. They draw ratings. Now, the Super Bowl, it is shared between the big three broadcast networks, but I don't think that is a network decision. They're not sharing with each other because sharing is caring. The NFL spreads the Super Bowl around to each broadcast partner, so each network gets a piece every few years. If it were up to CBS, Fox, and NBC, they would probably have exclusive rights to themselves for every Super Bowl. But when it comes to the WNBA, this so-called valuable investment, ESPN, ABC, they are willing to give it away. 2 weeks ago, the WNBA was averaging 1.3 million viewers a game. 2 weeks later, that number is down to 806,000. Why? Why do you think that is? Well, KC, Caitlin Clark must be losing her drawing power. They need to put Angel Reese on national TV more. She's a huge star. Yeah, they've tried featuring Angel Reese on national television. They've put her on Ion. They've put her on NBA TV. As it turns out, when you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, Angel Reese can't draw flies to a fresh turd. Matter of fact, Angel Reese can't sell out home games in Chicago when she's playing against Caitlin Clark. That game in Chicago Sunday afternoon, it wasn't a sellout. And don't even get me started with the Chicago bravado and their lack of attendance at home without Caitlin Clark. It is so quiet in that arena most nights you can hear a mice queef in the rafters. But in fairness to Angel Reese, and look, I think Angel Reese can become a draw for the WNBA. I don't know if she will ever have the drawing power of Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese is a dynamic player. If she stops focusing on the bullshit, if she stops focusing on the jealousy and stays focused on basketball, Angel Reese, she can be a big star. But in fairness to her, it's not just Angel Reese who is struggling to draw without the assistance of Caitlin Clark. The entire league is struggling. The reason WNBA ratings have declined 38% in the last 2 weeks, it's because they have been putting other teams on national TV. Nationally televised games that do not involve Caitlin Clark, they're averaging 428,000 viewers. Is it starting to make sense why ESPN is willing to share the WNBA Finals with other networks? Is it starting to make sense why ESPN isn't willing to break the bank for the dump? If you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, the WNBA has no value. I don't know how it works in the WNBA. I mean, like the rest of the country, I paid no attention to this league until this year. I have watched more WNBA games this season than the previous 38 years of my existence combined. So I don't know how team building works in the WNBA, but I do know how it works in the NBA. It takes years to build a championship contender. It takes years for superstar players to learn how to win a championship. Took Michael Jordan, the best player to ever touch a basketball. Well, Casey, that's not true. LeBron James is the GOAT, damn it! Yeah, LeBron is the Billy Goat. If you don't believe me, just ask Shannon Sharp. Hey, it's me, Shay. The grown man who calls himself Shay, he'll tell you that Bron is the greatest, but to anyone else with a set of working eyes, no one else comes close to the greatness of Michael Jordan. It took the greatest, the most elite player of all time 7 years to win his first championship in the NBA. Took the Billy Goat damn near 10 years to win his first title. Shaq, 7 years. Kobe, 4 years. The point is, Caitlin Clark could be years away from championship contention. I mean, have you seen the Indiana Felines? Have you seen some of her teammates? They're struggling to catch wide open passes and airballing layups. The coach is on the hot seat, whatever the hell her name is, Chrissy Shields or whatever. Who cares? She does need a shield, though, to protect herself from that flaming ass fire that is burning under her seat. Maybe Caitlin Clark stumbles into the playoffs this season, maybe. But even if she does, she's probably not going to advance past the first round. Looking at ESPN's decision to share the WNBA Finals, I would assume that ESPN doesn't expect Caitlin Clark to contend for a championship for years. And if it takes her years to grow into a championship contender, the WNBA playoffs in the meantime are absolutely useless. There's not another player in this league that is capable of drawing an audience. And that's not my opinion, it's a fact. There have been 13 games that have set viewership records for networks in the WNBA this year. 12 of those records belong to Caitlin Clark. The other game was between the New York Liberals and the Minnesota Linkers. They drew 704,000 on CBS, and the game was played inside of an arena that was filled to 37% of its capacity. Last night is a prime example of how networks view the rest of the WNBA. Last night was the championship game in something called the Commissioner's Cup. Well, KC, what the hell is the Commissioner's Cup? You remember the in-season tournament in the NBA? Commissioner's Cup, I think, is similar to that. It's basically a consolation prize for teams that aren't capable of securing access to the golden toilet by winning the WNBA Finals. The winner of the Commissioner's Cup, they receive access to a miniature bathroom. It's not as glamorous or as nice as the golden toilet, but it sure beats the hell out of standing in line waiting for one of those rainbow-colored porta potties. But anyway, the NBA, they treated the in-season tournament like it was a big deal, and the tournament performed well on television. The later rounds were nationally televised. TNT, they made a big spectacle of the semifinals and the championship game. Both the NBA and the networks, they treated the in-season tournament like it actually mattered. Last night, the Commissioner's Cup, it wasn't even broadcast on national television. If you were bored and wanted to watch the game, it was only available on Amazon Prime. It was played at UBS Arena outside of New York City. The final game of the Commissioner's Cup, it filled the arena to 40% capacity. Basically, no one cared. But anyway, give me your thoughts. WNBA continues to struggle without Caitlin Clark. Why do you think ESPN is willing to share the WNBA Finals? Do you believe they're bullshit when ESPN claims that they are looking out for the best interest of the league? Or do you think ESPN notices the glaring lack of value that the WNBA offers TV networks? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys later.